If you're watching this and you're over 60, there's a good chance omega-3 is already part of your life. Maybe it sits quietly on your kitchen counter. One soft capsule each morning. Sometimes two, because someone once said, it's good for the heart. And you believe that because you care about your health. You're trying to do the right thing. Yet here you are, still feeling stiffness when you stand up. Still hearing your doctor say your cholesterol hasn't moved much. Still wondering why your liver numbers didn't really change. And that can feel confusing, even a little discouraging. So let me say something gently and honestly, right from the start. Omega-3 isn't failing you. It was never the problem. What's happening is that many of us were never taught how to use it properly. Not the right type, not the right amount, not in the right context of how the body actually works after 60. And once you understand that, everything begins to make much more sense. Number one, omega-3 is not a magic pill. Let's slow this down for a moment because this is where expectations quietly drift away from reality. Omega-3 is not hype. It's one of the most studied nutrients in modern medicine. Large population studies have shown that people with higher levels of omega-3 in their blood tend to have lower levels of chronic inflammation. The kind of inflammation that doesn't cause fever or pain right away, but slowly stiffens joints, thickens blood, and stresses the liver over time. Researchers often measure this inflammation through markers like C-reactive protein, or CRP. And again, omega-3 has been shown to gently lower those numbers. Not overnight, but steadily. That's why omega-3 is associated with better heart outcomes. That's why cardiologists recommend it for people with high triglycerides. And that's why neurologists care about it, because DHA, one of the main omega-3 fats, is literally built into the structure of the brain and the retina. So yes, omega-3 is real science. But here's the part that rarely makes it into the conversation. Omega-3 does not work like a painkiller, and it does not work like a statin. It doesn't force numbers down. It doesn't override biology. What it does is support the environment inside your body, creating conditions where healing becomes more likely. This is where many people feel disappointed. Someone may take one capsule a day, keep eating fried foods, keep blood sugar swinging up and down, remain mostly sedentary, and then wonder why the joints still ache or the lab results barely change. Clinical trials help explain this. When researchers looked closely at omega-3 studies with weak or mixed results, a pattern appeared. Participants who saw the greatest benefit were not just swallowing capsules. They were also improving diet quality, moving more, and taking doses high enough to actually change fatty acid levels in the blood. The Journal of Clinical Lipidology summarized it clearly. Omega-3 shows the strongest effects when dose, formulation, diet, and lifestyle are aligned. And that makes sense when you think about how the body works after 60. Cartilage doesn't regenerate quickly anymore. The liver clears fat more slowly. Muscles burn less glucose unless they're asked to move. Omega-3 can reduce the inflammatory noise in the system, but it can't rebuild structures that were never given the raw materials or the signals to repair. That's why omega-3 alone cannot rebuild worn joint cartilage. It can't cancel decades of excess sugar and refined oils, and it won't resolve fatty liver in a body that never leaves the chair. But this isn't bad news, it's actually reassuring, because it means omega-3 isn't failing you. It's simply doing what it was designed to do. Support, not replace, the body's own repair mechanisms. Think of omega-3 as quiet background music. When the rest of the system is in harmony, the music brings everything together. But when the system is chaotic, it can't carry the whole performance by itself. And once you understand that, Once expectations shift from magic pill to biological partner, omega-3 finally begins to make sense. Number 2, the quiet imbalance. Most people never see. There's something else happening beneath the surface, something most people were never warned about. Many older adults tell me the same thing. I eat fish. I cook at home. My oil says it has omega-3 on the label. And on the surface, that sounds reasonable, responsible even. But when scientists began looking deeper, not at labels, not at intentions, but at fatty acid ratios inside the body, a very different picture emerged. Our bodies don't just care about how much fat we eat, they care about balance. In a healthy metabolic state, the ratio between omega-6 and omega-3 fats is meant to be roughly 4:1. That balance allows inflammation to rise when it's needed, to heal an injury, fight an infection, and then quiet itself down. But modern diets change that balance dramatically. In the typical American diet today, that ratio is often 20:1, sometimes even 30:1. That's not a small difference. That's a biological shift. Omega-6 fats, which are abundant in vegetable oils, fried foods, packaged snacks, and restaurant meals, are not inherently bad. Your body needs them. But when omega-6 floods the system without enough omega-3 to counterbalance it, the body stays in a low-grade inflammatory state, quietly, continuously. This kind of inflammation doesn't feel dramatic. There's no fever, no obvious warning. Instead, it shows up as morning stiffness, as blood vessels that slowly lose flexibility, as liver cells that hold on to fat instead of releasing it, as joints that ache longer than they used to. Researchers call this chronic systemic inflammation, and it's now recognized as a core driver of arthritis, cardiovascular disease, fatty liver disease, and type 2 diabetes. What makes this especially important after 60 is that the body becomes less resilient. Inflammation that a younger body might recover from easily can linger longer in an older one. Repair signals move more slowly. Cells respond less efficiently. So when someone says, "I already get omega-3 from my diet," science gently asks a different question. Is it enough to rebalance the system you're living in today? For most people, the honest answer is no. This is why adding a small amount of omega-3 on top of a diet still dominated by omega-6 often doesn't feel like it changes much. The scale is simply too uneven. Omega-3 isn't just a nutrient, it's a counterweight. And unless there's enough of it, consistently, the body remains tilted toward inflammation, even when we think we're doing everything right. This isn't about blame. It's about context. Our food environment changed faster than our biology could adapt. Omega-3 didn't become less effective. The imbalance simply became too great for small doses to correct. And once we see that clearly, we stop asking, why isn't omega-3 working? And we start asking the better question, what does my body actually need to restore balance now? 3. Why the type of omega-3 matters more after 60. At this point, many people begin to ask a very reasonable question. If omega-3 is so important, why does it seem to help some people, but not others? The answer often comes down to something surprisingly simple. Not all omega-3 enters the body the same way. On the label, they may look similar, but inside the body, especially an aging body, they behave very differently. Most people are familiar with traditional fish oil, clear or pale yellow capsules, taken for years, sometimes faithfully. Fish oil contains EPA and DHA, the two omega-3 fats that science cares most about. And at the right dose, fish oil can absolutely lower triglycerides. That part is well supported by clinical data. But there's a detail that becomes more important as we age. Fish oil omega-3s are carried in a triglyceride or ethyl ester form, which means they rely heavily on digestion, bile flow, and fat absorption to enter the bloodstream. And after 60, those systems don't always work as efficiently as they once did. Stomach acid tends to decline, bile production may slow, the gut absorbs fats less consistently. So even when someone takes fish oil regularly, the amount that actually reaches their cells may be far less than expected. This is where krill oil enters the conversation, quietly without much marketing hype, but with growing scientific interest. Krill oil also contains EPA and DHA, but it delivers them in a phospholipid form, the same type of fat that makes up our cell membranes. That matters, because phospholipids don't just float through the bloodstream. They integrate more easily into cell walls, including brain cells, liver cells, and the lining of blood vessels. In simple terms, the body recognizes them more readily. Studies published in journals like Marine Drugs and Lipids in Health and Disease have shown that krill oil omega-3s tend to be absorbed more efficiently, even at lower doses, particularly in older adults. But there's another layer to this story. Krill oil naturally contains astaxanthin, a deep red antioxidant that protects the omega-3 fats from oxidation, both in the capsule and inside the body. Oxidized fats create stress. Protected fats support repair. Astaxanthin has been shown to reduce oxidative stress markers in inflammation, two processes that accelerate aging and joint degeneration. That's why, in some studies, people taking krill oil saw improvements not only in triglycerides, but also in LDL quality, and even modest increases in HDL. This doesn't mean fish oil is bad. It isn't. It simply means that as the body changes with age, the delivery system matters more than it used to. What worked at 40 may not work the same way at 70. And when someone says, "I've been taking omega-3 for years, and I don't feel much difference," the question isn't whether omega-3 works. The question is whether the body is still able to use it efficiently. Sometimes a small change in form, not a bigger dose, is what finally allows the body to respond. And that understanding opens the door to the next critical piece of the puzzle: how much omega-3 the body actually needs to see real change. Number 4, when a little is simply not enough. This is the part that often surprises people, because many older adults are doing something right, but not doing enough for their bodies to actually respond. For years, the common advice sounded simple: take 1 omega-3 a day. And for general wellness, that may be fine. But when we're talking about real physiological change, less inflammation, better lipid numbers, improved liver markers, the body needs more than a symbolic gesture. Science has been very clear about this. In clinical studies where omega-3 showed meaningful benefits, lower triglycerides, reduced inflammatory markers, improved vascular function, the doses were rarely small. Researchers weren't using 1 capsule a day. They were using 1 to 4 grams daily, depending on the goal. The American Heart Association has stated that doses under 1 gram per day often do not significantly alter blood lipid levels in people who already have abnormalities. That matters, especially after 60. As we age, the body becomes less responsive to low-level signals. Cells don't listen as easily. Metabolic pathways move more slowly. What a younger body might respond to at a low dose, an older body may barely register. This is why someone can take omega-3 faithfully for years and still see stubborn triglyceride numbers, still wake up with stiff joints, still feel like nothing is shifting. It's not because omega-3 stopped working. It's because the dose never crossed the threshold where the body says, "Now I understand what you're asking me to do." Studies on triglyceride reduction consistently show that meaningful drops, sometimes 20 to 30%, occur at doses closer to 2 to 4 grams per day. Inflammation-related joint discomfort often responds best when omega-3 intake reaches 1 to 3 grams daily, sustained over time. And for fatty liver, research suggests that moderate doses, typically 1 to 2 grams daily, combined with diet and gentle movement, can improve liver fat content over several months. Not weeks, months. That timeline is important. Omega-3 doesn't force change. It nudges biology in a healthier direction. It alters cell membranes slowly. It shifts inflammatory signaling gradually. It works on the level of systems, not symptoms. So when someone says, "I tried omega-3 and it didn't work," the deeper question is often, was the dose enough for the body you have now? At this stage of life, because after 60, the body often needs a clearer signal, spoken a little louder, and repeated consistently. And once the dose finally matches the need, that's when omega-3 stops feeling subtle and starts feeling supportive in a way people can actually notice. In the next part, we'll talk about something just as important: why omega-3 still can't do its job if the body never moves, and how even gentle movement changes everything. If you're ready, we'll continue there. Number 5, why omega-3 needs a moving body. There's a quiet truth that doesn't get talked about enough. Omega-3 doesn't work in isolation. It works inside a living, moving system. And when that system becomes still, sitting most of the day, moving only when absolutely necessary, even the best nutrients begin to lose their voice. This isn't about exercise in the way many people fear it. It's not about gyms or sweating or pushing limits. It's about biology. When the body moves, even gently, something remarkable happens. Muscles begin to burn fat more efficiently. Blood vessels open just a little wider. Insulin becomes more sensitive. Inflammation signals quiet down. These changes are not dramatic, but they are powerful. Researchers at Harvard and other institutions have shown that regular, moderate movement can significantly amplify the lipid-lowering effects of omega-3. In some studies, people who combined omega-3 supplementation with daily walking saw nearly double the improvement in triglyceride levels compared to those who took omega-3 alone. That tells us something important. Omega-3 doesn't burn fat by itself. It helps the body use fat properly, but only when the muscles are invited into the conversation. This becomes especially relevant after 60. As we age, muscle mass naturally declines. And muscle isn't just for strength or balance. It's one of the body's primary metabolic engines. When muscles contract, they act like sponges for glucose and fat. They pull triglycerides out of the bloodstream. They reduce the burden on the liver. Without movement, that system stays idle. That's why someone can take omega-3 faithfully, eat reasonably well, and still struggle with fatty liver or stubborn cholesterol numbers. The liver is doing more work than it was ever designed to do alone. But when movement enters the picture, even something as simple as a 20-minute walk after a meal, the load is shared. Inflammation decreases. Fat metabolism improves. Omega-3 finally has the environment it needs to function. This isn't about doing more. It's about doing just enough, consistently. Gentle walking, light resistance, standing up more often than staying seated. These small signals tell the body we're still alive. We still need flexibility. We still need balance. And when the body receives those signals, nutrients like omega-3 stop feeling like background noise and start becoming active participants in healing. In the final part, we'll talk about one last detail. Small, easy to overlook, but powerful enough to change results entirely. When and how omega-3 is taken. Just one more piece, and the picture becomes whole. Number 6, the small timing detail that changes everything before we close. There's one last piece. Quiet, simple, and often overlooked. It doesn't sound dramatic. It doesn't come with bold promises. But in real life, it can be the difference between "I've been taking omega-3 for years" and "I'm finally starting to feel a change." It's timing. Omega-3 is a fat, and fats don't behave the same way in an empty body as they do in a fed one. Traditional fish oil depends heavily on digestion. It needs stomach acid, bile, and dietary fat to be absorbed properly. As we age, those systems naturally slow down. Stomach acid decreases. Bile flow becomes less consistent. The gut becomes more selective. That's why studies have shown that fish oil taken with a meal containing fat is absorbed far more effectively than when taken on an empty stomach. When taken without food, much of it simply passes through. And in some people, it comes back up. That familiar fishy aftertaste that signals poor absorption. Krill oil behaves differently because its omega-3s are bound to phospholipids, the same structure found in cell membranes. They're less dependent on digestive fat to enter the bloodstream. This is why krill oil can be taken at almost any time of day and still be absorbed efficiently, even in older adults. These details may seem small, but biology is built on small details. When omega-3 is absorbed well, it integrates into cell membranes. It changes how cells communicate. It calms inflammatory signaling at a deeper level. When it isn't absorbed well, it simply becomes an expensive habit. So if you're using fish oil, timing matters. Taking it right after a meal with healthy fat, olive oil, nuts, eggs, fish, can quietly transform its effectiveness. And if you've tried omega-3 in the past and felt disappointed, sometimes the solution isn't changing the supplement. It's changing how and when you take it. This is the thread that ties everything together. Omega-3 isn't a shortcut. It's a conversation with your body. And when that conversation is spoken clearly, through the right type, the right dose, movement, and timing, the body listens. Not all at once, not overnight, but steadily, faithfully, in a way that supports a longer, stronger, more comfortable life. And that's what healthy aging is really about. If there's one thing I hope stays with you after this video, it's this. Your body isn't broken, and it isn't betraying you. It's simply changing, the way all living things do with time. Omega-3 was never meant to be a miracle. It was meant to be a quiet companion, supporting the heart, the joints, the brain, the liver. As the body learns how to age with a little more grace, when it doesn't seem to work, it's rarely because you failed. More often, it's because no one ever explained how the body after 60 actually listens. It listens to balance, to consistency, to signals that are repeated gently, day after day. The right form, the right dose, taken at the right time, in a body that still moves, even slowly, even imperfectly. That's not a strict plan. It's a relationship. And relationships don't change overnight. They deepen with patience. So if you've been discouraged, let that go. Nothing was wasted. You were learning, even when it didn't feel like it. Healthy aging isn't about fighting your body. It's about working with it, listening more closely, asking better questions, and choosing support that respects how biology truly works. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this conversation helped you see your health a little more clearly, you're not alone. We'll keep learning together, one thoughtful choice at a time.